Tune in for Patrick Ching's Painting in Paradise.
Aloha, I'm Patrick Ching, and thank you for joining me on Painting in Paradise. In this episode, we enter the busy little world of bees. We'll learn about honeybees, as well as Hawaii's native yellow-faced bees. I'll show you how to draw a bee, and then we'll join a bee painting workshop at Bird and Bee Hawaii in Āhualoa. Finally, we'll visit the town of Hilo for World Bee Day at the Mokupapapa Discovery Center. Enjoy all this and more on a beautiful episode of Painting in Paradise! When someone mentions bees, most people think of honeybees. But do you know that Hawaii has native bees that evolved here and are found nowhere else in the world? Here's Dr. Jeremy Frank of the Bishop Museum talking about bees in Hawaii.
So most everybody is familiar with bees, but when we think about bees, we tend to think about the classic honey bee, which is the yellow and black fuzzy bee that we see visiting flowers, and very famously builds large hives in which many worker bees collaborate to feed the offspring of a single queen and live in this communal society. But most bees are not social like this. They're actually solitary, where every female maintains and provisions her own nest. And the native bees of Hawaii are all bees of this solitary type. They belong to a genus known as Hylaeus, their common name being the yellow-faced bees, because many of them have black heads with a yellow marking across the face. Native bees are like honeybees in that they feed on pollen and nectar, but they do not make honey. Rather than producing honey, they will simply gather and then regurgitate pollen to feed a single offspring at a time.
Fortunately, you can get to see native bees at accessible beaches like this part of the Kaiwi coast on Oahu. Many people from several groups have been working hard to restore the native habitat which the bees utilize. The native bees will actually nest in holes within the coral or bore deep into the bark of native plants. A leading entomologist, Dr. Carl Manyaka, has been studying our native bees in the field for many years.
We have just one group of native bees here. It's the yellow-faced bees. All of our native bees are derived from just one ancestor that came over from Asia. Their closest relatives are in Japan and China. So from that single ancestor, it evolved into about at least 64 species within maybe a million years or so. Most of our native bees, they're black, and most of them have yellow faces. That's mostly in the male, and you can tell the different species apart based on the pattern of the face. A lot of the females are just black, but some species, the males, are also only black. We just found a new species on Molokai that was really exciting. It seems to be a Molokai endemic, and it's one of the ones that's all black. Even the males don't have any mark on the face, and it's restricted to one particular site so far that we know of, so it's a really exciting find. There's been a lot of focus on just a handful of species like the one that's found on the coast here on Oahu, but there's a lot more diversity in the native bees. For example, there's the one that Patrick painted in the poster from Oahu, Hylaeus anomalus. That's one that I rediscovered a few years ago that hadn't been seen for about 50 years and had never been seen in the Waianae range before.
I was surprised to see how small Hawaii's native bees are compared to the introduced European honeybee. When we return, we'll learn about honeybees in Hawaii, and I'll show you how to draw one.
This is a blink and you'll miss it kind of story, and not because the video is short, but because the subject is very, very small. Not to mention difficult to capture on video. This little one is the Hawaiian yellow-faced bee, and it is Hawaii's only native bee. It has also made its way onto the endangered species list as of 2016.
Aloha, my name is Kimio Nakane. I'm the Director of Community Outreach with a local nonprofit that focuses on environmental stewardship called 808 Cleanups. 808 Cleanup volunteers have been working to remove invasive Hawaiikoa and Kiawe from this area. What that does is it frees up our native Nio species. Now, as you may know, invasive species tend to grow a lot faster than our native species, which at some point will choke out these native plants from existing.
Aloha mai, my name is Kekai Mar, and I'm a Park Interpretive Program Specialist for the Division of State Parks. One of the main native insects or invertebrate that we have in our coastal shorelines in Hawaii is the yellow-faced bee. You know, some more commonly known or had named this bee as Nalomeli Maoli. It's kind of a nickname, if you will, for this yellow-faced bee that we have. And, you know, this little critter is no larger than a grain of rice and is so vital for these native coastal ecosystems. It's the main pollinator for all of the coastline. You know, today, if we look around at the insects that are on these coastal plants, only about 5% are native species, are the yellow-faced bee.
If you're curious as to why it's important to support native pollinators and native plants, watch the yellow-faced bee interacting with the naupaka flowers. When the bee enters the flower, you'll notice one simple detail. The size of the bee matches the size of the flower perfectly.
Alright, so now I'm going to show you how I go about drawing a bee, but not just any bee. This is going to be a honeybee. I'm going to start this just like I start any of my drawings by pressing softly. How are we going to press? Softly, that's right. We're going to press softly so that we don't dig into that paper, so that later on we can adjust or even ignore lines. There are 3 parts to a bee's body: the head, thorax, and abdomen. Now I'm going to start it off by doing a little circle right in the middle of my page, like that. And that's going to be for the middle of the body, which we call a thorax. Yeah? And I'll put another circle about there for the head. And now the back section over there, that big section with all those stripes, that's called the abdomen. And we can do it like that. We can also make it a little bit of a point, you know, stinger comes out of there sometimes. Now to the honeybee's legs. But from this angle, we're only going to see part of the legs. You know, I'm going to make kind of a big one there and a couple of ovals like that. And that's the biggest back leg. Now, more in the middle there, we're going to have another oval. And, you know, we're not going to see all of the legs. And we know that a bee is an insect, so it has how many legs? 6, yes. 6 legs, 3 on each side. And the front legs will be about there. And I'll make that little point going like that, okay? So we're seeing 3 of the honeybee's 6 legs because he's giving us the side view. What are we missing now? The maka, yeah? The eyes. And they got kind of big eyes. Cute, the bugger. You got big eyes. Pretty cute. And they also got wings. How many wings do you think they have? 2? Huh. Well, they actually got 2 sets of 2. So they got 4 wings, okay? And I'll make the wings kind of coming out of here. And maybe a little one more in the back. That's only one side, you know. Yeah. They also got wings on the other side. And plus they're going so fast. And we'll kind of make it just, you know, kind of softly over there, okay? Now they got a couple more things on their head, yeah? Antennas or antennae. And I'm going to make them like this. And they got another one. Just like that. 2 antennae, I think. One more thing that's really noticeable about honeybees is their abdomen has like stripes, yeah? And like the back part, it's kind of like a big one. And then, you know, maybe you got like 3 more sections or that have stripes on them like that. So they get kind of thinner and thinner as they go that way. Okay, so now we got our bee. Yeah, looking pretty good. Honeybees, they're kind of hairy. Yeah, they got hair on their legs. They got hair on their body. This hair helps them to gather pollen. You know, so when they go to a flower and kind of like drink the nectar or gather the pollen, it sticks on them, and then they go to another plant and it kind of spreads the pollen to that other plant, and it's like the birds and the bees without the birds. Yeah, so I'll just go and kind of give it little bit of a fuzzy look, a little bit of a hairy look here and there. It's a little tricky sometimes, but give it a try, you know. You can give some little hairs here and there, even on the legs. Yeah, you can put hairs on the legs. Who knew a bee have hairy legs? Now I'm going to give this bee something to do, like a flower to be coming to, okay? And we can do a native Hawaiian flower. We'll do a lehua blossom, but you can do any kind of flower. Your favorite flower. Bees probably come to your favorite flowers. Yep. So I tell you what, I'm just going to put a leaf right around here. That'll be like a lehua leaf or something. I'll put a couple of them. Okay, and now I'm just going to go like this and make the sprigs, I call them sprigs, of the lehua blossom. Bing! Ready? Okay. I'll make them go behind the leaves, yeah? And you know what? They got little balls of pollen on them too, at the ends. Yeah. I just keep making little balls because we can paint it or color it, and we can make those yellow. We can make the lehua whatever color lehua we want. I'm going to make this one a red one. Then you can put maybe some blue sky and clouds behind this picture. I think that's going to be a nice painting. Okay, now we formed up our honeybee coming to a lehua blossom. Now I'm going to take a bigger pen, see, and I'm going to like go over it, and that way you can see the lines a little better, be funner to paint with. Yeah, funner is a word, by the way. Over here it is. And I'm going to start by doing the bee, and once I get started, I'm just going to zip it because, you know, I might put this in fast motion. I don't want to keep talking fast. If you want to make it look like the wings are moving really fast, because they are, you can give a little bit of a blur or a kind of a wing action lines like that. You know, I put those lines in sometimes. And don't forget your signature. And there you have a honeybee at a lehua blossom. When we return, we'll join a bee painting workshop in Āhualoa. Now let's join in on a bee painting workshop at Bird and Bee Hawaii in Āhualoa. Here Susan Collins keeps hives of honeybees and offers bee tours as well. Today a small group of artists will focus on painting bees. And how do you feel today? You think this is going to be easy, hard?
Oh, so excited. So excited. Easy, hard. I'm just totally excited.
Hi, my name's Tyler, building out a homestead down Mountain View. And I'm really excited today to get in some painting, some things I put off because I do all the hard labor on the property, and so now I get to take some time for me today. I've used artwork ever since I got out of the Marine Corps as like a form of therapy for myself, and so just self-taught, self-dabbling.
Tell us about your photo that you're painting from.
So it looks like this one is from Victoria McCormick, and it is a bee collecting pollen from inside a flower. But what I really like about it is all the water droplets and trying to figure out how to paint water droplets. They're all over the bee and on the flower. It's really cool looking.
Yeah, we can't do that today. As the class goes on, I try to impart some wisdom.
I heard you say I'm not an artist, but anyway, you're an artist today. And we all are artists, and one thing I noticed right away, because I listened for this, not a negative peep out of anybody, so far, and I thank you for that. Usually that's my first lesson with people that I meet for the first time. Our words are our truth, and we believe them. Things you say to yourself, you do believe them.
You say good things to yourself. I begin to realize that the advice I give other people is mostly meant for myself.
It's a beautiful day to be greeted in the Hawaiian way. It's a beautiful day here in Hawaii. It's a beautiful day when you hear the people say, "Hui, pehea, e ai ka mo, e algebra, let's go grind." So there's none left.
The red was wet. The hardest lesson is just to not say the negative things.
It's a beautiful day here in Hawaii. Hey, it's a beautiful day when you're greeted in the Hawaiian way.
By the end of the day, everyone had turned the white canvas into a beautiful work of art.
It's a beautiful day when you hear the brothers play. It's a beautiful day here in Hawaii.
When we return, we'll see a queen bee laying eggs at the World Bee Festival painting event in Hilo. For art, gifts, and lessons, visit patrickching.com. Now join us at the Moku Papapa Discovery Center in Hilo.
Hi, this is Susan Collins, and I'm here at the 3rd Annual World Bee Day Hawaii. It is an annual event to bring the community together to celebrate the importance of pollinators, but also honeybees. We invite local beekeepers, our artists, and the whole community to come together on this day. We have been having such a great time with having Patrick Ching and friends here. They've been helping kids and adults paint bees, and everyone loves the activity so much. We are so grateful to have him.
I'm Daniel Dunham, and I'm a beekeeper. And today we're at World Bee Day doing a demonstration hive to do some interactive stuff with the kids. And I have with me an observation hive. I'm going to show you the queen bee. So the queen is like laying an egg right now. So all of her attendants are all around her in a circle, and they're like feeding her and taking care of her and helping her lay the egg. So they'll feed the larva royal jelly. They'll just be taking like the best nectar and pollen and then converting it into that royal jelly. All bees get the royal jelly for the first 3 days, but then after that, only the queen will get royal jelly, and that's what makes her into the queen.
Excuse me, I'm just going to shoot a little bee roll.
My name is Namtia Noche. I'm spreading awareness on the native Hawaiian bee. There are now 64 different species, and we encourage everybody to go onto iNaturalist and document if they see any of the Hawaiian native bees, so then other people could see them. We could keep track of how many native Hawaiian bees are on all the islands of Hawaii.
Aloha, I'm Annie Steeple with Whale and Bee Hawaii Honey here at World Bee Day. have tons of samples of honey from all over Big Island. Plus today we have all sorts of food made with honey. My bees get all the credit. They're hardworking gals.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Brower. I'm here taking videos and pictures, and I'm as busy as a bee.
Oh, hi. I'm Mr. Lee, and today we're here at the Festival of the Bee, the World Bee every day. And we've brought hands-on shadow puppets to work with. And today we have guest artists, the Bee Holden Theater Company are here. And they're going to show us what happens as we get the ohana, the children and the adults, to perform and interact. Ready on the set? 5, 4, 3, 2, here we go. Oh my gosh, well, it looks like 2 of the students from Āhualoa have left class. Uh-oh, here comes Kumu. Kumu says you better get back to school. Thank you.
It's buzzing at the Bee Day with vendors from all over selling wonderful, wonderful products. It's going to be a really wonderful day.
I was invited to Bee Day to help people paint their own bees.
It's going to be awesome.
This young artist was the first to start painting.
That's pretty good for part-time. You're very how much you charge per hour?
She's watching the grown-ups play now. Yeah, that's because some paint got dripped, so I had to go back and add something.
Here's a native yellow-faced bee.
Like that?
Here's our first finisher. By the end of the day, we had a whole bunch of beautiful bees. Thank you for joining me on Painting in Paradise. I hope you enjoyed this episode on bees. I'd love to see your bee art, so send me a picture through my website at patrickchingart.com. Aloha.
It's a beautiful day when you're greeted in the Hawaiian way. It's a beautiful day here in Hawaii. It's a beautiful day when you hear the brightest play. It's a beautiful day to be greeted in the Hawaiian way. It's a beautiful day here in Hawaii. It's a beautiful day when you hear the people say, "Kala'apopo e hano hokau."